I want you to translate the following text into American English, using everyday language they use. Don't add or remove anything, just translate it. Costa Rica usually fits into easy labels: award-winning coffees, postcard beaches, endless forests. But there's a whole country behind those cliches, a place where biodiversity sets the pace and daily life revolves around the land. Tourism draws attention from all over the world, but the countryside still plays a central role in the economy, connecting villages, markets, and families. It's in this mix of intense nature and day-to-day work that the country's true essence shows up, and that's where our trip begins. Before we move on, go ahead and click subscribe and turn on the bell. That way, every new episode gets to you right on time and nothing on this journey slips by. On the map, Costa Rica stretches between the Caribbean to the east and the Pacific to the west, with mountains, volcanoes, and valleys stitching the route together. The most common gateway is Juan Santa Maria International Airport in San Jose, but those who come by land cross the borders with Nicaragua and Panama, passing through landscapes that change by the hour. The tropical climate keeps temperatures mild most of the year, around 25 degrees Celsius, 77 degrees Fahrenheit, and those looking for drier weather usually aim for December to April. On the streets, Spanish is front and center, an inheritance from the colonial period that blends with regional accents and local expressions. The written history takes shape in 1502, when Christopher Columbus reached the Caribbean shores and christened the territory with golden expectations. The precious metal didn't show up, but the fertile land already supported peoples who had migrated from northern regions and lived off farming and hunting. That connection with the soil stayed strong, renewed by modern techniques and by the environmental awareness that today is a hallmark of the country. And it's exactly this combination of past, landscape, and everyday life that we're going to explore next, one chapter at a time, from the coffee that perfumes the morning to the trails that disappear into the green. On the mountain slopes, locals quickly spotted an advantage. Coffee put down strong roots there. That crop helped shape Costa Rica, which, after breaking with Spain, declared independence in 1821 and ended centuries of colonization. Today, the country often ranks among the 15 happiest in the world, a contrast with neighbors that still face economic bumps. About 5 million people live in 51,000 square kilometers. The social makeup says a lot too. Close to 90% of the population has mixed or mulatto ancestry. The rest includes groups of African origin and indigenous peoples. Among the latter, only 4 tribes preserve their languages and customs. On the Global Corruption Index, Costa Rica sits in 48th place, a sign of a moderate level. For visitors, the day-to-day is straightforward. Mild weather year-round, white sand beaches and turquoise waters. The fertile soil supports fruits and vegetables. In uncertain times, this agricultural base strengthens the country against hunger and scarcity, with coconuts standing out. There's also room for personal projects. Investors can buy land and build homes in the middle of nature. Public education is free and accessible, and getting health care and medicine is uncomplicated, cutting down on worries about insurance. Put together, these conditions make Costa Rica a life option that, for many, beats that of developed European countries. When people think of Costa Rica, a lot of them picture beaches and volcanoes, but day-to-day life reveals less obvious nuances. Unlike the Brazilian model, the country doesn't have free social housing programs, and that shows up in the urban space. Walking through San Jose, you can see trash piling up and catch bad smells. Part of that comes from people who, without a bathroom available, use public space in urgent situations. For first-timers, the impact is real and opens the door to discussions about infrastructure and social policy. Before we move on, go ahead and click subscribe and turn on the bell. That way, every new episode gets to you right on time and nothing on this journey slips by. By the numbers, things come into focus. The average salary is around US $700 per month, with a minimum close to US $600. Even so, purchasing power is considered high by Latin American standards. Renting a 2-bedroom apartment in a central area costs about US $700. Those looking for more comfort can find beachfront houses with a yard in the US $500 a month range. In daily life, a nice dinner runs around US $40. Adding groceries and restaurants, The food bill can hit US $1,000 a month. There are specific incentives for foreigners. Residents who move income online and keep a local bank account report tax exemptions, as long as they can prove earnings starting at US $3,000, with higher requirements in some cases like US $15,000. Add to that the legalization of gambling and prostitution, which are tolerated without much state intervention, factors that also boost high-spending tourism, especially from visitors from the United States. They say Costa Rica has an uncommon trait. There, driving after drinking isn't treated like in many countries. Drivers leaving a bar don't automatically face penalties or lose their license just for that fact. For a long time, road signs were sparse, and the rules only really took shape starting in 2012, which helps explain certain habits on the streets. Even so, the country doesn't see itself as fragile. On the contrary, it cultivates a sense of stability that grabs newcomers' attention. That feeling has roots in a decision made in 1948, abolishing the Army. Since then, defense has relied on international agreements, with the United States as a strategic partner. The logic is simple: cut military spending, bet on diplomacy, and keep doors open to the world. The result shows up in daily life, where things move along without the constant presence of armed forces, and with a focus on civilian priorities. As you cross San Jose and head into town surrounded by fields, the pace slows down. Chats on the sidewalk, quick greetings, a willingness to listen before answering. There's a contentment that doesn't need announcing. It shows up in the way people live. At the table, identity gets stronger. Corn, beans, squash. Dishes that come from the land and tell stories of agricultural work. And behind that menu, a cultural compass. Pura vida. More than a greeting, it's a commitment to lightness, adaptability, and joy in the little things. Rush becomes the exception. The clock matters less than the conversation, the meal, the journey. And it's at that tempo that the country builds its appeal, a way of life that invites you to stick around a little longer and take it all in. In Costa Rica, kindness and patience aren't formalities. They guide how people get along. Instead of hurried steps and invisible walls, an outstretched hand is the norm. Faced with a problem, the common reaction is to ask how to help, even with someone you're meeting for the first time. The warmth in relationships isn't for show. It's a daily practice that brings cohesion to streets, markets, and squares. Before we move on, go ahead and click subscribe and turn on the bell. That way, every new episode gets to you right on time and nothing on this journey slips by. This collective mindset contrasts with the individualism of many industrialized centers. Family and neighbors carry real weight in decisions. The clock follows nature. People wake up around 5:30 a.m., and by 9 p.m., lots of folks have already turned the lights down. A steady rhythm that fits the bird song and the end-of-day chat on the sidewalk. In a territory of about 51,000 square kilometers, the country stitches together a diverse social mosaic. In the countryside, after sunset means calm, closed doors, and time at home. But don't get it twisted. That doesn't mean nothing's happening. For those seeking action, there are bars, live music, and dance floors open in different cities, ready to welcome whoever shows up at any hour. When night falls, a cosmopolitan scene appears. Accents from several continents cross paths. Laughter blends together, and local hospitality does the rest. With good financial planning, you can have a great time without blowing your budget. And there's a reputation that crosses borders. Like Colombia, Costa Rica is often remembered for the beauty of its women, part of the image that tourists record and talk about. Far from the rushed pace of capital cities, lots of people pick the bicycle as a daily companion. It's not just a lifestyle choice, it's easy on your wallet and the planet. Pedaling cuts costs, reduces traffic, and brings neighbors closer. And it's in that back and forth that the local identity takes shape. Another thing that really stands out is soccer. Just about everywhere there's a field, from dirt roads to the oldest neighborhoods. Weekends hit different there. Kids practice, parents cheer, the community gets together. In Costa Rican towns, the setup is simple and functional. A church, a school, and a field. 3 spots that become the compass for daily life. Addresses even follow those references. Next to the church, behind the school. The map is born out of relationships, not just streets. Seen from above, the country reveals a horizontal layout. Low buildings, lots of single-story roofs. A spread-out growth that encourages togetherness and gives breathing room to green areas. And despite the compact territory, rural zones show a variety that surprises. Rhythms, trades, and landscapes that change just a few kilometers apart. For anyone looking to boost their income, there's a practical shortcut. In the first comment, there's a suggested video with ways to earn, discreetly, between $7,000 and $10,000 a month. Worth checking out. The content also brings a direct comparison with a neighboring country, geographically close but with very different paths in development and results. A contrast that helps explain choices that work and strategies you can apply day to day. And that's it for today. If you enjoyed this stroll through Costa Rica, drop a like, share it with someone who'll love these details, and comment what stood out to you most. Take the chance to save the suggested video in the first comment. There's a great tip to turn opportunity into real income. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next part, because we're still going to explore a lot of good stuff around here. See you soon.